Hier, leçon. Donc, je crois que la dernière fois que nous avons eu une leçon, c'était, ça fait un mois, hein, c'était au début du mois passé. Alors,
Oui.
qu'est-ce qu'il y a de nouveau pour toi depuis la dernière fois, depuis notre dernière leçon ensemble, Anna?
J'ai un nephew maintenant.
Un neveu! Ah,
Un
ben,
neveu.
ça c'est bien, ça.
Oui.
Toutes mes félicitations. Donc, voilà, je vais écrire
Merci.
ça pour toi. J'ai un neveu. Ben, c'est
J'ai
bien
un
ça.
neveu. J'ai un neveu. Oui. C'est c'est pourquoi
Oui, c'est pourquoi.
c'est c'est en temps parce que je
Ah,
suis allée mais chez mes parents.
ah
Euh,
oui, c'est ça. Tu m'avais dit que tu devais aller chez tes parents, c'est ça, oui.
oui. Euh, Voir le bébé de mon frère.
Ah oui, pour voir le bébé de ton frère. Oui, je me souviens que tu m'avais dit cela, que tu devais aller voir le bébé, donc chez tes parents. Et le bébé se porte bien. Anna, tout va bien pour le bébé?
Ah, ouais, ouais. Le bébé est très petit.
Le bébé est
Euh,
très petit, oui. Mhm.
ouais, parce que j'ai 2 mois.
Ah oui, il n'a
Non,
que 2 mois.
il a 2 mois.
Il a 2 mois, c'est
Euh,
ça. Mhm.
euh, 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 très, très joli.
Ah, ben
Non,
c'est bien
très
ça.
mignon.
Ah, mais
Très
c'est
mignon.
excellent ça. Ça, c'est vraiment très, très bien. Ah, ben je suis
Merci.
vraiment très content pour toi alors, Anna. Ça, c'est une bonne chose alors.
Merci.
Ben, avec plaisir. Alors, donc aujourd'hui, c'est une leçon RLS, RPS, et est-ce que tu sais quel scénario tu aimerais qu'on utilise pour notre jeu de rôle, pour notre simulation? Est-ce que tu as déjà une idée une idée du scénario que tu aimerais utiliser, Anna?
Euh, je veux pratiquer parler euh, des situations que
Oui,
euh, peut-être j'aurai en France, euh,
oui.
comme à le docteur, non, au docteur
Ah, oui, quand on
ou
va voir le docteur, oui. Quand on va
le pharmacie,
visiter le docteur ou la pharmacie, oui, tout à
pharmacie
fait. Oui, ça c'est excellent, ça. Mhm.
ou hmm,
Alors, il faudrait donc choisir ou bien le docteur ou bien la pharmacie, mais c'est vrai que nous pouvons faire les deux, hein.
ouais.
On peut faire d'abord l'un et puis l'autre après. Tu préfères commencer avec le scénario du médecin d'abord ou d'abord le scénario avec la pharmacie? Qu'est-ce que tu préfères, Anna?
Le médecin, parce que je pense que j'aurais besoin de,
Oui, j'aurais besoin, c'est ça. Mhm.
de savoir
Oui, besoin
parler
de
avec
savoir.
un médecin. Et,
Oui. Mhm.
quand je suis allée en France l'été
Oui,
dernier,
oui, oui.
euh, je suis allée à la pharmacie
Ah oui, à la pharmacie, oui.
Ouais, mais je ne, non, je suis jamais allée
Oui.
au médecin.
Ah, tu es jamais allé visiter le médecin, tu n'es jamais allé voir le médecin. Euh,
Ouais.
d'accord. Alors, on peut d'abord faire le scénario avec le médecin pour commencer. Alors, il faut aussi choisir quel rôle tu aimerais jouer. Est-ce que tu aimerais jouer le rôle du médecin ou le rôle de la personne qui va rendre visite au médecin, donc le patient? Quel rôle est-ce que
Euh,
tu aimerais jouer, Anna?
je veux jouer les patients.
D'accord, très bien. Alors, si tu aimerais jouer le rôle du patient, moi je jouerai le rôle du médecin. Alors, est-ce que tu es prête pour qu'on commence le scénario, Anna?
Euh, 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 j'étais, j'étais à la plage et euh, quand j'ai, quand j'ai, quand j'avais joué au volleyball,
En fait,
volleyball.
tu as déjà commencé le scénario?
Oui, oui,
Ah,
oui.
d'accord. Moi, je demandais si tu étais prête. I was asking you if you were ready to start, and you already started.
Oh, and I just
Ah,
started.
d'accord. OK. Euh,
Ouais.
donc, euh, est-ce que tu es prête pour commencer? So, the question was, are you ready to start? You ready?
Yes. Oui.
D'accord, très bien. Donc, je vais commencer d'abord pour mettre un petit peu faire un peu la mise en scène. Hein? So, I'll start off just to, put the setting in place, okay,
Ouais.
to set up the situation. Okay, so I'll start now then. Ah, bonjour madame, voilà, c'est donc à vous maintenant, c'est votre tour. Merci pour votre patience, merci d'avoir patienté dans notre salle d'attente. Alors, vous pouvez entrer, s'il vous plaît, dans la salle de consultation. Alors, vous pouvez prendre place, asseyez-vous, s'il vous plaît. Madame, et alors, dites-moi ce qui ne va pas, donc la raison pour votre visite aujourd'hui, s'il vous plaît.
Um,
Did you understand what I said, by the way?
répète s'il te plaît.
Oui, je vais répéter. Donc, d'abord, j'ai dit bonjour, madame.
S'il vous
Uh,
plaît.
so, hello, young lady. Donc, c'est à vous maintenant, c'est votre tour. So, it's you now, it's your turn. Donc, merci d'avoir patienté dans la salle d'attente. Thank you for your patience in waiting in the waiting room. Et si vous voulez bien entrer maintenant dans la salle de consultation, and if you would like now, please, to enter the consulting room. Et prenez place, asseyez-vous, mettez-vous à l'aise. Take a seat, sit down, make yourself comfortable. Dites-moi la raison de votre visite, ce qui ne va pas et la raison pourquoi vous êtes venu donc me voir aujourd'hui. And tell me the reason for your visit, what isn't going well, and why you have come today for this consultation with me.
Ok, d'accord.
Mhm.
Je comprends maintenant.
Ah, c'est bien, excellent.
Merci.
Avec plaisir.
Bonjour.
Oui,
J'étais à la plage
oui,
et
j'étais à la plage, très bien.
oui, et j'ai joué avec non, j'ai
Oui.
joué. How do you say volleyball?
J'ai joué au volley. So I write
Oh,
it
right.
for you. Here we are. J'ai joué au volley. Voilà.
J'ai joué au volley
Oui.
et je suis tombée.
Ah, je suis tombé, oui.
Ah
Mhm.
ouais. Je suis tombée et maintenant j'ai mal au pied.
Mhm. Ah, vous avez mal au pied. D'accord.
Ouais.
C'est le pied gauche ou le pied droit?
Pied droit.
Le pied droit, d'accord, très bien.
Oui.
Alors vous pouvez enlever votre chaussure et votre bas pour que je puisse regarder votre pied droit et aussi la chaussure du pied gauche et le bas du pied gauche parce qu'il faut que je compare les deux pieds pour voir la différence, pour voir si le pied droit est gonflé par rapport au pied gauche. Vous voyez ce que je veux dire, madame?
Um,
Did you understand that or not? No.
hmm,
Okay. So I said, please, could you then take off your shoe and your sock or stocking so that I can see what it looks like, and also take off your shoe and sock or stocking off your left foot as well, because I need to compare the two to see if there's any swelling.
d'accord.
D'accord. Mhm.
D'accord.
Mhm.
Je pense. How do you? What's the word for swelling?
Swelling, so the verb to swell is gonfler. Donc, gonfler is the verb to swell. There we are, like that. And so we would say if the foot is swollen, you would say le pied est gonflé. That
Okay.
means the foot is swollen.
Okay.
So that's how you would say it.
Okay. Je prends que les pieds gonflés.
Oui,
Euh, ouais, parce que les chaussures,
les quoi? Sorry, what did you say? Les?
no, the foot, the
The,
shoe.
the shoe, la chaussure.
La chaussure,
La
euh,
chaussure, which is the shoe, like that.
la chaussure,
Mhm.
rentre pas
Ah, n'entre
maintenant.
pas. So you're saying the shoe doesn't fit in.
Uh, it
The
doesn't fit. Like, uh, La chaussure maintenant est trop petit.
La chaussure est maintenant trop petite, and you need to say petite because it's like a feminine word, the shoe, la chaussure. So for the agreement, the letter E at the end to show that it's feminine. So you would say la chaussure est trop petite, like that. La chaussure est trop petite. That's the way you would say it.
Sur le doigt. Pied.
Sorry?
Le doigt.
Oui, du côté du pied droit, c'est ça.
Oui.
And so I'm just going to give you as well the word for the swelling. So swelling is this word gonflement.
Gonflement.
Which comes from the verb gonfler, to swell. Okay?
Gonflement.
Gonflement. Donc, voilà. Oui, effectivement, je vois que le pied droit est gonflé. Et est-ce qu'il est douloureux en ce moment, s'il vous plaît, madame? Douloureux means painful. So I'll write that for you. Douloureux, that equals painful.
Okay. Ouais, c'est très douloureux.
C'est très douloureux.
Ouais. Quand je mange, quand je
marche, oui.
C'est très difficile parce que j'ai un limp. J'ai un to limp.
Sorry. What was the word you were saying? So you can say it in English. Yeah.
I was saying it's very painful and I have a limp.
Limp. Okay. So you would say, as we said before, c'est très douloureux et je boite.
Je boite.
So I'll write that for you. So c'est très douloureux et je boite. There we go. I'm going to just check. Yes. Voilà. C'est très douloureux et je boite.
C'est très douloureux et je boite.
Et je boite. So the verb boiter is the verb to limp.
Okay.
So limp is boiter. B-O-I-T-E-R. So I'll give you the infinitive as well. Boiter equals to limp. There we are.
Okay.
Et donc, c'est très douloureux à quel niveau, s'il vous plaît, madame? Est-ce que c'est au niveau de la cheville, au niveau de la plante du pied? Est-ce que c'est au niveau des orteils? Ou bien est-ce que c'est au niveau du mollet et le bas de la jambe? So did you understand all of that?
Niveau.
Yes, you know what it is?
Niveau is level.
That's right. So niveau equals, so it's un niveau, it's masculine. Un niveau equals a level.
Like a level of pain?
Yes. So we're talking about at what level it is, the pain, where the pain is situated, you see. So I'm like asking you different questions about different places where the pain may be situated. So different parts of the foot and the lower leg. So did you recognize all the different words that I said concerning the different
Ouais.
parts of the foot and the lower leg?
Ouais. Le douloureux est non. Au niveau jambe.
Au niveau de la jambe, oui.
Au niveau de la jambe.
Oui.
Parce que quand je suis tombée.
Voilà, quand je suis tombé, oui.
J'ai frappé des
frappé.
jambes
Oui.
sur le terre.
Oui. You wouldn't say j'ai frappé la jambe sur la terre.
Oh,
it's not as if you frappé. I mean, frapper can be to knock, like on the door, but also to hit. But when you say j'ai frappé la jambe sur la terre, it means like you yourself deliberately hit. So it's not the same as accidentally hit, you see. If it was accidentally hit, it would be either the verb heurter, which and cogner, both of which are like synonyms, cogner, and that means to hit against something accidentally. So that's when you're hitting against something accidentally. Frapper is also,
like
it can be to knock, okay, or to strike, or to hit something on purpose. Can you see the difference there? That's when you're deliberately hitting something, frapper. That means you yourself are striking. You see what I mean?
Okay.
It's not like something which knocks against or hits against in the sense of an accident where it happens without you deliberately doing the action. It's in the sense that if you're striking frapper, it's like you lashing out or striking and you deliberately doing it. Whereas the other hit, heurter, cogner, is in the sense of you knocking against or hitting against or striking against in the sense of a fall, you know, when you're impacting without you deliberately doing it yourself. You see that difference, Anna? Yeah, d'accord, très bien.
Merci.
Bah, avec plaisir, Anna. So you would say, donc j'ai heurté, donc ma jambe a heurté ou cogné le sol being the ground. Voilà.
Okay. J'ai heurté
Heurté, oui.
les jambes et mon pied,
Oui.
le doigt, mais le douloureux.
Le pied douloureux, oui.
Le pied douloureux travels up the leg, so it starts at the foot.
So you wouldn't say because douloureux is painful, but if you're talking about the pain, it would be la douleur equals the pain.
Okay.
So you would say
douleur.
la douleur, and then you want to say that it travels up the leg. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So, la douleur se propage, like in the sense of propagates. So it like spreads out or in a certain direction. So it spreads. Donc la douleur se propage, as in to spreads. So se propage is, well, if it's the verb to spread, it's the verb se propager. Se propager is to spread. And then you would say vers le haut de la jambe. Do you understand what that means? Vers le haut de la jambe.
Towards the something of the leg.
That's right. Towards le haut. Haut is high, but when you're saying le haut, it's like the top of or the upper part, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's the top of or the upper part of the leg. That's what it means. Mm-hmm.
So the douleur se propage vers le haut de la jambe.
Voilà, exactement. La douleur se propage vers le haut de la jambe. Et est-ce que vous avez une douleur dans votre genou?
In your genou?
Yes. You know what genou means? No. Okay. So le genou is the knee.
Oh, all right. Le genou.
Yes. Le genou is the knee.
Je sais le mot, mais...
Ah, tu connaissais le mot, mais tu avais oublié, c'est ça? You knew the word, but you'd forgotten. Okay. So what I think would be a good idea is maybe just to have a look at the different parts of the body, because obviously that's important, especially if you go and see the doctor. Otherwise, if you're hurt in a part of the body where you don't know the word in French, it's going to be difficult. Well, of course, if you're actually in the doctor's surgery, then it's easy. If you're in the physician's, the medical doctor's surgery, you can just point to it. But often you have to take, at least in France or in Belgium, an appointment over the phone before you actually go, and especially now with the COVID-19, the coronavirus, to avoid lots of people waiting in the waiting room at the same time. They ask people to come only at the time of their appointment, and they fix the appointment beforehand instead of just saying, come anytime and it'll be first come, first serve. No, we don't do that anymore now. So in doctor surgeries, you have to phone in, fix the appointment, and come only at the time of your appointment, so that you're not in contact with any other person in the waiting room at the same time.
C'est un appointment.
Un rendez-vous. Un rendez-vous. It's an appointment. Is un rendez-vous. Rendez-vous. Yes, it's spelled like that. Rendez-vous in French, which is an appointment.
Wait, I knew that word.
You knew that.
I said I knew that word. Whoops.
Yes, I mean rendezvous is quite a well-known word, even in French, even in English. We talk about a rendezvous. Yes. So it's, but you see, on the phone, the doctor will want to know what's wrong. You see, so that he knows roughly how much time to allocate for your appointment. So he knows how soon he can book in another patient after you. And so he will ask you briefly to explain over the phone what is wrong. And if you can't even name the different parts of the body, it'll be difficult over the phone to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So
All right.
it's good to know the different parts of the body. So if you like, we can just like put the actual scenario with the doctor's appointment on hold for a moment and just go through the different parts of the body. Would that be a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is for vocabulary.
Yeah.
Now, it's better if you just tell me in English the different parts of the body that you don't know, because I'm sure there are some parts that you do know. So
Mm-hmm.
to avoid, saying things that you already know, then just tell me what you don't know in English, and I'll give you the French translation of those words.
Could I actually start with what I do know in French and say it in
Okay.
French?
Okay, just
It's
check
hard
it for the
for me to,
pronunciation. Yes, just to
yeah.
make sure with the pronunciation, because obviously,
Mhm.
even if you know it but you can't pronounce it correctly, the doctor or the physician on the other end of the line, if you're, calling in on a phone call, won't be able to understand either what you're saying. Even if you
Mhm.
know what it is, you need to pronounce it correctly. So you're right. We need to also check your pronunciation, especially if it's a phone call to fix an appointment. It wouldn't be so important before COVID-19, before the coronavirus, but now with the
Mhm.
coronavirus, that is the new procedure. Did you know that was the new procedure, Hannah,
Um,
for doctor's
it's
appointments?
like that in the U.S. as well.
Oh, you already know about that in the US,
Mhm.
yes. Okay, that's good. D'accord. Alors,
Um,
quelles sont alors les différentes parties du corps que tu connais déjà, Anna? The different parts of the body that you already know?
la tête, le nez,
La
les yeux,
tête, le nez,
la
les yeux.
langue,
Very good. What did you say after les yeux?
la langue,
La langue, the tongue.
la langue.
La langue, yes.
Um, les jambes, les pieds, le
So,
cœur,
you were indicating the
cerveau.
cheeks, weren't you?
What? But I forgot what they were.
Okay. Les joues, that's the
Les
cheeks.
joues.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
And the lips.
Do you know how to say the lips?
Mm-mm.
Okay. The lips, it's les lèvres.
Oh, I know the lips.
Well, you
Les
see,
lèvres.
sometimes it's just a question of refreshing the memory, you see. Les
Mm-hmm.
lèvres, mhm.
Le nez.
Le
Le
nez. Oui.
chin. Chin.
I'll write it down for you. The chin is le menton.
Le menton.
That's right.
Les mains.
Les mains, good.
Les doigts.
Les doigts, very good.
Les ongles.
Les what? What did you say?
Ombre.
Oh, you're
Les
talking about the arms, are you?
Oui, oui.
Okay. Well, that would be important to know, because if it's the arm that's broken and you don't know the exact word for the arms, in French, the word for arms, it's a bit funny in English. These are the arms,
Oh, les bras.
les bras.
Oh.
But of course, you need to pronounce it the French way, because otherwise it sounds like the bras, which is something totally different, and the doctor will not understand what you mean. It's quite funny, really. There's some words like that in French. Also, exist in English, but with a totally different meaning and a totally
Totally
different
different
pronunciation
meaning.
as well. That's funny, isn't it?
Les
So,
bras.
les bras. So you need to
Um,
pronounce it correctly. Les bras. That's right. Les
les
bras.
bras. Les bras.
Les
Les
bras.
bras.
Les
Les
bras.
bras.
That's good.
Les jambes. Les
Good.
genoux.
Les
Les
genoux. Yes.
pieds.
Les pieds.
Le plot.
What did you say?
The plot? No, never mind.
What
I'm
is this
saying
in
the
English?
plate. I don't know why I'm saying
The,
the
the,
plate.
the
The
plate.
toe. The toes.
The toes, I'll write those for you. Les orteils are the toes. Les orteils.
Les orteils.
And you were saying the plate, is that right?
Yeah, for some reason I was trying to think of the bottom of the foot, and instead I said the plate.
La plante
Oh,
des
the
pieds.
plant.
Like a plant, you know, like a green
Mhm.
plant. La plante des pieds. It's the soles of the feet.
I was really close then.
Yes, you weren't far off at all. It was just one or two letters that needed to change there.
Mhm. I got add an N.
Yeah, that's right. The soles of the feet. La plante des pieds.
La plante des pieds.
Well,
La
actually,
plante des
I need
pieds.
to specify if la plante is feminine, I mean singular, I need to put it's the sole of the foot. C'est la plante du pied. That would be better. So we have it all properly combined and la plante du pied. So it's all the same. That's right. So now it's all singular. La plante du pied, the sole of the foot.
Okay, the sole of the foot.
Mm-hmm.
Ankle.
Alors, la cheville. I actually used that word when I was asking you where the pain was situated earlier on. So you didn't actually notice I used that word. So la cheville, because I mentioned a few different parts of the lower leg, is the ankle. That's la cheville.
La cheville.
That's right.
The Achilles, the heel.
C'est le talon. Le talon is the heel, and the Achilles tendon is le tendon d'Achille. That's the Achilles tendon.
Okay. And then the top of the foot would. Wait, I can do
the top of the foot. You know how to say the top of the foot? It's like what I said earlier when it was the top of the leg. So how did I say the top of the leg in French earlier?
So it would be vers.
No, vers is towards. But here you don't have to say towards because you're just indicating that part directly. So you're not talking about the pain spreading towards the top of the foot, but you're just saying the top of the foot. So that's right. Oh, you remembered. Oh, I'm impressed. Well done, Hannah. Le haut du pied is the top of the foot. That's it. Le haut du pied.
Le haut du pied. The shin.
What is shin?
Shin.
What do you mean? Say it in English because I didn't recognize it in French. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's English.
Oh, the chin.
The shin.
Yes?
The part of your leg that's under your knee.
Ah, your shins. Yes. Okay. Like the back of your lower leg. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the shins are, okay, I'm just going to make absolutely sure because it's not a word I use every day. And well, yes, I was confusing it with a calf, but maybe it's the same thing as the calf. Are you familiar with a calf?
The calf is the back and the shin is the front, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Well, that's interesting. For the shin, they actually say the tibia.
Oh, the tibia. Okay.
Yes, it's interesting. But if you're talking about a piece of beef, it would be the jarret. Have you heard of the jarret? A jarret of beef? But in French, there's an expression, le jarret de bœuf. That is a shin of beef. Okay.
Oh.
So this could be useful for you in a butcher's shop if you want to buy some meat. There we go. Le jarret de bœuf would be the a shin of beef or just a shin. But if you're talking about for a human being, you wouldn't talk about the jarret, but you would talk about the tibia, which is interesting that it's referred to as the tibia. So they're referring to the bone of the lower leg.
Mm-hmm.
So the shin would be le tibia.
The tibia. Oh.
Tibia would be the shin. Now, the other word that I was yes, that's right, the calf. That is le mollet.
Le mollet.
Le mollet equals the calf. There we are.
Okay. And then the thigh.
The what? The
thigh.
The thigh. Okay. So the thigh equals la taille. But the thigh can also be the waist. So the thigh is, I think it's more la cuisse, the thigh. Let me just check that, because once again, when it's very close to each other, it can be, yes, when it's very close to each other, it can be confused. So let me see that just to be absolutely sure. Here, if I put in la cuisse, oh yes, it is la cuisse. Sorry. So la cuisse is the thigh, but the la taille is the waist. So I'm just going to change that, because they're quite close to each other. Sometimes confuse them with those myself. So the waist is la taille, and the what did we say was the other one? The
wait, no. The thigh.
No, what did I say? It was the thigh. That's right. Yes. So the thigh equals la cuisse. There we go. It's like when you're having a chicken leg, a drumstick. You talk about une cuisse, which is like a thigh of chicken.
Okay.
La cuisse.
And then there's l'estomac, le cœur.
So what did you say before le cœur? You said something else just before le cœur.
L'estomac.
L'estomac. The C is silent.
Right.
So
C is silent.
it's l'estomac, even though it's written with a C. It's a silent C, like often in French, last words are silent. L'estomac is the stomach. And then, of course, le cœur is the heart. That's correct. Yes.
And then.
Sorry. What did you say?
What's wrist?
Le poignet.
Le poignet.
The poignet is the wrist.
And then elbow.
Le coude.
Le coude.
Le coude is the elbow.
And then the back, I think, is le dors.
Le dos.
Le dos.
Le dos. Yeah. Once again, the S is silent at the end there. The back. Le dos. Yes.
Shoulder.
L'épaule.
L'épaule.
L'épaule is the shoulder. Same thing if you're asking for a shoulder of beef, you would ask for une épaule de bœuf.
Okay. What about a shoulder blade?
L'omoplate. L'omoplate.
L'omoplate.
L'omoplate. Which equals the shoulder blade. There we are. Shoulder blade. L'omoplate.
The spine?
La colonne vertébrale.
La colonne vertébrale.
Yes, let me just write that for you. La colonne vertébrale. You see, sometimes it's totally different from the English, because in English we have just one word for it, and the French literally say the column of the vertebrae, like the column which, you know, supports and holds, you know, all the vertebrae in position. So it's interesting the way that it's described in French compared to the word spine in English.
Oh, ears.
So, les oreilles.
Les oreilles.
Les oreilles.
And then neck.
So, le cou.
Le cou.
Yes.
Oh, right.
The is, and le cou is the neck. There we are.
I think that's all the parts that I can think of.
Well, that's great. Très bien. Excellent, Anna. Alors, mais avec plaisir. Et donc, c'est quand exactement, madame, que vous avez eu cet accident? Ça fait combien de temps? Cela fait combien de temps?
Sur la plage, près,
oui.
Près de l'eau.
Près de l'eau.
De mer.
Près de la mer, oui.
De la mer. Quand j'ai joué.
Quand j'ai joué au volet, oui.
J'ai tombé.
Je suis tombé. Je suis tombé.
Je suis tombé.
Je suis tombé.
I know sand, but I forgot sand.
Sand. Le sable.
Oh, right, the sable.
Sand.
Le sable, parce que l'eau a fait le sable slippery.
A rendu le sable. So, l'eau a rendu, that means rendered, in the sense that it made the sand slippery. So, l'eau a rendu le sable glissant.
Glissant. Oh,
glissant meaning slippery. Like glisser means to slide. So something is like in a state where you can slide on it, therefore it's slippery, if you see what I mean.
Quand j'étais jeune,
yes.
Je faisais le ballet.
Ah, tu faisais le ballet.
Ouais, ouais.
Voilà. Quand tu étais jeune, donc tu faisais le ballet. Donc, alors il faut dire, quand j'étais jeune, je faisais le ballet. Quand j'étais jeune, je faisais le ballet. Voilà. Mais c'est bien ça. C'est excellent.
Ouais.
Très, très bien.
Le glisser et
Ah, tu as glissé.
move. Oui.
Oui, alors il faut dire j'ai glissé.
J'ai glissé.
Oui.
Il y a un move, like a move,
Un
dance move.
mouvement, un movement, un movement.
Il y a un mouvement
Oui.
que on s'appelle glisser.
Ah.
Il s'appelle glisser.
Oh, there's actually a move which is called the slide. Ah, donc it wouldn't be glisser because that's the verb glisser, to slide, but it would be la glisse, which would be the slide, rather than the verb to slide. La glisse would be the slide.
We call it glisser.
Oh, you call it glisser. Okay. Which is a verb to slide. So instead of saying the slide, they just say glisser. It's like saying to slide. Glisser. But it's la glisse. But the verb is glisser. Glisser, which is to slide. Yes, that's good. Glisser. So it's interesting that they have a French word for that.
Il y a beaucoup de français mots.
De mots français, not français mots. Remember, we don't say blue car, but we say car blue in French.
Right.
Donc, we don't.
Français.
Voilà, it's always the adjective after the noun. So it's like saying car blue instead of blue car. Donc, des mots français, yes.
Qu'on utilise
Qu'on
en
utilise.
ballet.
Ah, qu'on utilise avec le ballet ou quand on fait le ballet.
Ouais.
Ah, ça c'est intéressant, ça. Je ne savais pas ça. Ah, très intéressant.
J'ai commencé à apprendre le français pendant le lycée, mais honnêtement, parce que non, à cause du ballet, j'ai commencé à apprendre le français quand j'avais 3 ans.
Ah bon, quand tu avais 3 ans, tu as commencé à apprendre le français à cause du ballet. Waouh!
Ouais.
Mais c'est très jeune, ça, 3 ans pour le ballet. Ce n'est pas trop jeune pour commencer le ballet à l'âge de 3 ans. Ce n'est pas trop jeune. It's not too young to start when you're only 3 years old. Ballet. Non?
Mais quand on... Non. Quand une personne
Une personne,
est
oui.
très jeune,
Très jeune, oui.
le ballet est plus facile.
Ah oui, d'accord. Donc c'est beaucoup plus simple parce que quand l'enfant a l'âge de 3 ans, l'enfant est encore en train de grandir. L'enfant est en pleine croissance. Et je sais, parce que j'ai vu un reportage à ce sujet, c'était donc, je crois, en Chine ou en Russie. Ils ont des programmes très poussés pour les jeunes, que ce soit la gymnastique ou le ballet. Et les enfants commencent très, très jeunes. Et je me souviens qu'il y avait un médecin français, parce que c'était un reportage en français, qui disait que en France, ce n'est pas autorisé de commencer un tel entraînement aussi jeune que ça, parce que cela peut avoir une influence négative sur le développement du corps de l'enfant, du squelette de l'enfant, des différents membres et des parties du corps. Et donc, c'est tout à fait déconseillé en France et même en Europe. Et il y a une réglementation assez stricte à ce sujet qui n'existe pas bien sûr en Chine ou en Russie, où là, c'est la compétition, la compétitivité qui est tellement forte que ils n'ont pas de règles ou, à ce sujet. Tu vois ce que je veux dire, Anna? Tu as compris. Did you understand what I was saying then?
So like with the like China or Russia and France and other European countries, they don't start you so young.
Oh no, it's only in Europe that they don't start so young. But in China and Russia, they do start very young, and that is the difference. And this French, yes. Sorry, you were saying? Aux États-Unis, oui.
Quand il y a un enfant,
Oui.
On peut commencer à apprendre le ballet.
On peut commencer à apprendre. C'est pas commencer à apprendre, mais on peut commencer à apprendre comme ça.
Mais pas très difficile parce que les enfants.
Il faut dire c'est pas très difficile. You have to say it's not very easy. You can't say not very difficult. You have to say it's not very difficult.
C'est pas très difficile.
Voilà, c'est pas ou ce n'est pas. C'est encore mieux. Ce n'est pas, because normally you have ne and pas together to form the negative. Ce n'est pas très difficile, comme ça.
Ouais. Parce que les enfants,
oui,
sont développés.
Sont développés.
Et si on apprend le ballet ou le gymnastique,
Oui.
est très mal parce que les enfants.
Oui. On dit pas c'est très mal, on dit c'est très mauvais.
C'est très mauvais.
C'est très mauvais. Because
très mauvais.
when you say c'est très mal, it's like saying mal is used more in the sense of evil. On parle du mal. Yes, that's right. So you see, it's isn't quite the same meaning. It's much stronger.
Evil.
Yes, I'm sure it can also be very evil, but usually we would just say it's very bad rather than very evil, because evil is like giving it an extra meaning. It's loading it much more and making it much stronger than normally it would be. So le mal, okay, is evil, but avoir mal is to be in pain. So you see, this word is used differently and has different meanings according to how you use it. So if you talk about le mal in general, it means you're talking about evil in general. Okay? But if you say j'ai mal, that's not saying I'm evil. Or je suis mal. No. It means that I'm in pain. j'ai mal. So it's the
Okay.
verb avoir mal, to be in pain. Can you see that, Hannah?
Okay. That
But
makes
you can
sense.
actually say je suis mal, which instead of using it with the verb to have, you can use it with the verb to be. Some words can be used both with the verb to have and the verb to be, but have a different meaning according to which verb you conjugate it with, whether to have or to be. Here, if it's être mal, would be to
Like you're
be
feeling badly?
not feeling badly,
Oh,
but to be in a bad way or bad situation.
okay.
So if you were to say, for example, là, je viens d'avoir un accident et je suis rentré dans une voiture de police. Alors là, je peux dire que je suis vraiment très mal. So, like saying, I've just had an accident. I've just crashed into a police car. I bumped a police car. So there, I'm in a really bad situation. I'm in a really bad way
Oh, yeah.
because
Okay.
I've just crashed into a police car. So, a very delicate situation. Donc là, je suis très mal. Là, I'm in a really bad situation. I'm in a bad way. You see what it means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not to do with pain, but it's to do with the actual situation you're in. Yeah,
Okay. That makes sense.
that makes sense. Yeah. Être mal. So you see, you were talking about it being bad, c'est très mauvais, instead of c'est très mal, which would be it's really evil. It's like malevolent. You know when something is malevolent rather than benign? So it's really malevolent. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
evil.
That's that's funny.
It's funny, isn't it? So you were saying, c'est très mauvais. What was the whole sentence you were saying, Anna?
C'est très mauvais parce que
Mhm.
les enfants sont développés.
Oui, you were saying they are developed?
They're developing.
They are developing. So, ils se développent. It's reflexive because it's they themselves
Oh,
developing. They're not
okay.
developing something else. So it's not transitive, it's intransitive. So it's reflexive. So, ils se développent. Like that. Ils se
Okay.
développent. Because if it's
So,
ils développent, par exemple, ils développent les négatifs. For example, they're developing the negatives of the photos in the darkroom. You see, in the olden days where you have the stills, have the photos and the negatives, and you develop them. You develop photos. So there, it would be transitive. You're actually developing something, and that would be ils développent les photos. They're developing the photos.
okay.
D'accord?
D'accord.
Mhm.
D'accord.
D'accord. Alors, pour revenir au scénario, so if you like, we can come back to
Oui.
the scenario. So actually, the question I wanted to ask wasn't actually where it happened, but when it happened. And you started
Oh,
explaining to me where it happened on the
I thought you said
beach.
where.
You thought I said
I
where?
thought I
No.
heard ooh.
It was quand. Quand
Ah, okay.
meaning when.
I
Uh,
misheard.
so I realized you hadn't understood the question because you were telling me the place where it happened by the water's edge and on the slippery side and all that. And I didn't want to interrupt you because you were speaking so well. I mean,
Thank you.
yes, I thought to myself, oh well, it doesn't matter if it's slightly different, the answer as regards the question compared to the question, but at least you were practicing the conversational French, and I thought to myself, I won't interrupt you. I'll let you go to the end of your
Thank you.
thoughts. You're welcome. So the question originally was, quand est-ce que cela s'est passé? And
Oh, okay.
I could have added, I was about to add il y a combien de temps ou il y a combien de jours? But as you were like flowing freely explaining to me where, I thought, no, I'll wait till you finished. And then we started talking about something else. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
ça fait combien
uh,
de temps et il y a combien de jours? Donc, c'était quand que cela s'est passé?
c'est passé pendant le matin.
C'est passé le matin. You didn't say
Le
pendant le matin,
matin.
you just say le matin, the mornings. Donc, cela s'est
Là, c'est
passé. That's
passé.
reflexive. C'est passé
C'est passé.
le matin.
Le matin.
Le matin.
Le matin. That's
Mhm.
so
Sorry, you say?
hard.
It's difficult?
Oh, le matin.
The matin is the morning. I mean, in English we say in the morning, but in French they say the morning. It happened the morning. Cela s'est
Yeah.
passé le matin. It's like saying it
Matin.
happened morning time. It's like saying it happened
Yeah.
morning time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just struggling with the pronunciation.
Oh, right. Okay.
Cela s'est passé le matin.
That's right. But in fact, I was asking not actually at what time of day it happened, but how long ago, how many days ago? Because obviously, for a doctor, it's important to situate when it happened in time, because then he can evaluate the swelling as compared with the time. Because if it's something that happened a few weeks ago and it's very swollen, then that would mean that it's something that's ongoing and the swelling hasn't gone down when normally it should have gone down after a few weeks. But if it happened only yesterday, then, it would be understandable to have a big swelling. Okay. And it wouldn't be so worrying, but if it was something that happened a few weeks ago and it was still very swollen, whereas normally the swelling should have gone down, then that is much more worrying because it means that there's a complication somewhere. It's not just a sprain, it could then be a fracture. You see, because that's what basically the doctor's trying to look for. He's trying to see, is it broken or is it just twisted? Because if the ankle is broken, just a sprain, then obviously it's not the same situation as if it's broken. So it's two totally different situations, yeah.
Okay. So cela s'est passé hier matin.
Hier matin, right. Now that situates the actual day. Donc, hier matin, très bien. Et donc, est-ce que vous avez déjà essayé de soigner cela vous-même? Est-ce que vous avez pris des médicaments ou est-ce que vous avez appliqué une crème ou quelque chose? So you understood the question? Yes.
Mais ça marche pas? Non, c'est pas marché?
Cela n'a pas marché. Donc, cela n'a pas marché. So, it did not work. Cela n'a pas marché.
Cela n'a pas marché. Est plus mauvais maintenant.
Ah, oui.
C'est plus mauvais maintenant.
Oui. You would normally have just one word to describe that. The word pire, which is worse.
Oh, pire.
Instead of saying it's more bad, just like in English, we say it's worse now instead of it's more bad now. And be careful not to say it's more evil now.
Too much.
It's a good thing you use the word mauvais and not mal, because if you use the word mal, it's even more evil now. Which would be rather fun. An evil foot. Ah, evil foot. Sounds like something out of a horror film, Evil foot strikes again. Alors, c'est pire maintenant. And you see, That means it's worse now. That would be a better way of saying it rather than it's more bad now. You would just say it's worse now. Like in English, c'est pire maintenant. Mm-hmm.
C'est pire maintenant.
C'est pire maintenant, d'accord. Et est-ce que vous avez des allergies, madame? Est-ce que vous êtes allergique à certains médicaments, à certains produits? Oui. Quelles allergies avez-vous, s'il vous plaît?
I don't know any medicines in French.
We'll say them in English, and I'll translate in French if I can. I'll have to see how good my Latin is. I'll have to brush up on my Latin. This is good practice for my Latin because often they are Latin words or they have, they're Latin based. Everything that's scientific tends to be Latin based.
J'ai une allergie de pénicilline.
Très bien, pénicilline, and you said it correctly. La pénicilline. Well, it does sound a bit similar to the English, but well done, yes. So, donc j'ai une allergie à la pénicilline. Let's just check the spelling of that. It's penicillin. Okay. It's not a word I write every day, penicillin. But it's a good thing my spell checker of Skype helps me here. J'ai une allergie à la pénicilline.
J'ai une allergie à la pénicilline.
Oui. Et est-ce que vous avez d'autres allergies?
Non.
Non.
Je sais pas si j'ai d'autres allergies.
D'accord. Et qu'est-ce qui s'est passé quand vous avez pris de la pénicilline et qu'il y a eu une réaction allergique? Quelle était cette réaction allergique pour que vous sachiez que vous êtes allergique à la pénicilline?
La réaction à la pénicilline.
Oui.
Quand je prends la pénicilline,
oui.
Je peux pas respirer.
Ah oui, ça c'est grave. That's serious.
Oui.
If you can't breathe. Ça c'est très très grave. Très très grave. Oh, ça c'est catastrophique. That's catastrophic. Oh yes. Oui, d'accord. Je comprends que vraiment, oui, c'est une réaction très extrême. Si vous ne pouvez pas respirer quand vous prenez la pénicilline, il faut surtout pas prendre la pénicilline. Surtout pas. Definitely not. Surtout pas. D'accord. Oui, je comprends. Alors, ce qu'il faudrait que je vous donne, c'est donc, d'abord, il va falloir faire des radios. Vous connaissez ce que c'est, les radios?
Les radios?
Oui. Les radios. Il va falloir faire, donc il va falloir que vous fassiez, il faut que vous fassiez, voilà, il faut que vous fassiez des radios. Il va falloir que vous fassiez des radios. Est-ce que vous savez ce que c'est les radios?
Like the radio?
The radios, yes. Oh, well, if the doctor is talking to you about radios, it's not a transistor radio, okay? It's not a short wave or long wave or medium wave radio. It's not an FM radio. No, this is something else. Do you know what kind of radios he's talking about?
Like an X-ray?
Exactly. And it's good to know because it's totally different. You see, in English we say X-ray, but they talk about radios because their service in the hospital is not the X-ray department, it's the department of radiology. So if you're looking in a French hospital for the word X-ray, you won't see it. You'll see le service de radiologie, which is the equivalent of the X-ray service. Donc so it's good to know, because otherwise you could be going around the hospital for a long time looking for the word X-ray and you won't see it. So it's le service de radiologie. Coming obviously from radiation, radiology, like radium, radiation. Donc c'est le service de radiologie, which is the X-ray service, and well, the X-ray department in the hospital, and les radios, just like if you're talking about radios, it's the X-rays. Les radios, it's the X-rays. Les radios. That's good to know, because otherwise you won't know what the doctor is talking about. Because if he asks you to go for a radio, you'll think you'll have to go and buy a radio somewhere in one of these hardware stores or supermarket, thinking you're going to have to buy a transistor radio for some reason. But it's good to know when the doctor says you have to go for a radio that it means an X-ray, and it doesn't mean a portable radio.
For a second, I was like, why would I listen to the radio? What?
Yeah, exactly. Well, why is this radio going to help my foot in any way? Radio. This is a new kind of therapy. Must be therapeutic. We talk about music, can make you feel better, but I mean, this is really very extreme, really. Very original.
Aux États-Unis, ils appellent le service de radiologie, mais le radio est X-ray.
Voilà, c'est ça. They call it the radiology service in the United States. Oh, the department. They do actually use the word radiology as well. They don't say X-ray department. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Donc, en plus des radios, je vais vous donner des médicaments pour, premièrement, soulager la douleur. Deuxièmement, pour réduire le gonflement. Troisièmement, est-ce qu'il y a eu une blessure au niveau de la peau? Was there any wound? Was the skin broken? Was there any wound at that place? There was a wound. Il y avait une blessure. Une blessure is a wound. Une blessure is a wound.
I got it. Sur la cheville.
Sur la cheville, very good. On the ankle, la cheville, that's right. Donc, s'il y a une blessure sur la cheville, je vais aussi vous donner des antibiotiques. Donc, pour que vous soyez protégé contre le tétanos ou d'autres microbes qui pourraient infecter la blessure. Voilà. You're familiar with tetanus, aren't you? Hannah, yes. And in French, it's le tétanos. Et est-ce que...
that sounds pretty for something that's really bad.
Le tétanos. There we go. Le tétanos equals tetanus. So it's interesting because obviously I don't write the word tetanus every day either. And I'd forgotten the accent. And this is an amazing spell checker I have with Skype. is that I wrote it without the E acute accent on the E, and as soon as I'd written the word, it didn't even indicate it was wrong. It would automatically added the E acute accent for me. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant. I love this spell checker in Skype. That's one of my reasons I prefer Skype more than anything else when I'm giving lessons. It's excellent. So, le tétanos is tetanus. Et alors, the next question would be, est-ce que vous êtes à jour avec vos vaccinations?
Oh, wait.
You know what it means to be à jour? À jour.
Wait, were you asking if I already had the vaccination?
Yes, but I was asking est-ce que vous êtes à jour? And à jour means up to date.
Ah.
So it means, are you up to date with your vaccinations? So
Oui.
à jour means up to date.
Oui,
So,
parce que je me suis coupé.
je me suis coupé.
Coupé.
Couper is to cut.
Mon main.
Ma main. Je me suis coupé la main. Voilà, je me suis coupé la main. Yes.
Oui. J'avais avoir une vaccination.
Ah, j'ai dû avoir une vaccination. Voilà, c'est ça. Voilà, ben c'est bien. Alors, vous êtes à jour avec vos vaccins. Vaccins being vaccines, yes. Et donc, voilà. Alors, vous avez compris, alors, premièrement, des antidouleurs. Deuxièmement, un produit, d'un médicament anti-inflammatoire pour faire réduire le gonflement. Et troisièmement, donc, des antibiotiques pour vous protéger contre les infections au niveau de la plaie. So, une blessure is a wound, but if it's an open wound, there is the word plaie, which is like an open wound. Okay? Because blessure is a wound in general, okay? That means like you've been hurt or wounded. But la plaie is the actual specific open wound itself. And it's like, it's a little bit more specific. I'm just trying to see how I could express this in English. Une plaie. Yes, well, they just say a wound in English in their Google Translate, but it's more of an open wound because blessure could be a war wound. Voici, j'ai eu des blessures pendant la guerre, like I've had war wounds during the war. But if you talk about une plaie, that is like an active wound, like an open wound, which is still open where the skin hasn't closed up over it yet. Tu vois ce que je veux dire, Anna? Oui. Très bien. Voilà, donc je vais vous prescrire cela. Est-ce que vous avez une mutuelle ou une assurance médicale, une assurance pour la santé? Est-ce que vous êtes couverte avec une assurance pour la santé, madame?
Ouais.
Do you understand what I'm saying there?
L'assurance voyager?
Well, that's the travel insurance, but here it's l'assurance santé or l'assurance médicale, which means the health insurance or medical insurance to see if you're covered or not.
J'ai l'assurance voyager.
Voyage, non, j'ai une assurance voyage. A travel insurance would be une assurance voyage, like that. Une assurance voyage is a travel insurance, yes.
Voyage.
Oui, très bien.
qu'il inclut en santé.
Qui inclut. You mean which includes. Is that right?
Oui, oui.
Ah, d'accord. Qui inclut donc l'assurance santé.
Qui inclut donc
Qui
l'assurance
inclut l'assurance santé. Ah, ben ça c'est bien ça. Excellent. Donc vous êtes couverte par l'assurance santé. Alors voici la prescription pour les médicaments. Et donc il va falloir aller à une pharmacie pour acheter ces médicaments. Et donc, dès que vous auriez fait les radios, alors il faudrait revenir me voir avec les radios pour me montrer les radios. Et aussi, je pourrais regarder pour voir si le gonflement du pied s'est réduit, si cela a diminué. Et je peux voir si la douleur aussi a baissé et si la douleur est partie. Et alors, comme ça, on va pouvoir voir exactement si tout va bien quand vous revenez. Alors, pour le rendez-vous, vous pouvez fixer un rendez-vous avec ma secrétaire médicale à la réception. Et comme ça, elle va fixer avec vous un rendez-vous pour quand vous aurez pu aller à l'hôpital pour faire les radios. D'accord? Est-ce que vous avez tout compris? Did you understand everything there? What did you understand? If you tell me what you did understand, then I'll know what you didn't understand, you see, by process of elimination, process of deduction. I'll just take away what you have understood and I'll tell you what you didn't understand.
You were saying like what can be done?
Right. And what were the things that I said that can be done? Do you remember?
X-ray.
Right,
Like
X-ray.
the radio.
Right.
And the antibiotic.
Antibiotics, right. That's because of the wound, to avoid any infection, yes.
And then like the insurance can pay?
Well, we did talk about the insurance previously, yes. What were the two other things? Antidouleur. Do you know what antidouleur means? Antidouleur is pain killers.
Oh, okay.
Ce sont des antidouleurs. So antidouleur is painkillers.
Oh, that makes sense.
Et anti.
It's like pain.
Sorry, you were saying?
Antidouleur is like saying anti-pain.
That's right. It's like saying anti-pain. Yes. Oh, I see what you mean by it makes sense. Yes, of course. Anti-pain. That's right. It's logical. That's true. And then the next one is logical as well. Anti-inflammatoire is
anti-inflammation.
Yes. I mean, you would maybe call that swelling reduces. I don't know the exact word in English, but anti-inflammatoire are swelling reducers. It's what you use to reduce the swelling. How would you say that in English? Is there a word in English?
Anti-swelling? Anti-inflammatories?
Oh, you do use the word in English, anti-inflammatories. All right, okay. So those were the two other things I mentioned that I would be writing on your prescription. And I said that you needed to go to the chemist with this prescription to buy this medication. And so l'anti-inflammatoire, c'est une crème qu'il faut mettre sur la blessure. Et les antidouleurs, ce sont des pilules qu'il faut avaler avec de l'eau. Voilà. Et donc, les antibiotiques aussi, ce sont aussi des comprimés qu'il faut avaler aussi. So, did you understand those words? Like pilule, comprimé, et pommade ou crème.
Like you were going to give me a cream,
Cream,
an
which is also
antibiotic
called
that I would
pommade.
take with water.
That's another word for
Pomade?
cream. Yes, there's two words for cream. Crème, of course, and pommade,
Pomade.
which is more of a medical cream rather than just a suntan lotion or something.
Okay.
This is, or beauty cream. This is une pommade, which tends to be more of a medical cream pommade. And then I was saying comprimé is a tablet, pilule is a pill. Are you familiar with those? Comprimé is a tablet and une pilule is, pilule is a pill.
Okay. Pilule.
Pilule, that's a pill, and un comprimé is a tablet.
Okay.
Right,
Yes.
excellent, très bien. Alors voilà, donc merci beaucoup pour votre visite, Madame Anna. Donc j'ai toutes les informations ici pour donc la note, donc pour payer. Alors la facture. Je vais l'envoyer donc à votre adresse, comme j'ai toutes les informations ici avec votre pièce d'identité, votre carte. Et donc, comme ça, je vais vous envoyer cela. Donc, je vais tout vous envoyer par la poste. Comme ça, vous aurez toutes les informations par la poste. D'accord?
Merci beaucoup à vous aussi.
C'est très gentil à vous. Merci bien, madame, et une excellente journée pour vous. Et bonne convalescence, bon rétablissement. So, bonne convalescence and bon rétablissement is good recovery.
Merci beaucoup.
Avec plaisir, madame. Excellente journée pour vous. So, Hannah, how did you find our scenario, our role-playing simulation?
It helps because it forces you to talk about things that you don't talk about a lot. So it was helpful.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And especially if you find yourself in that situation in a French-speaking country, that will be, of course, ever so useful. And so you'll find it so much easier to be able to communicate then in that kind of situation, which is important because if you're in an emergency situation, you need to be able to express yourself correctly in French so that you communicate the correct information to the doctor, to the physician, the medical doctor. Yeah.
And I made everything up just now, but I actually did hurt my foot in France, and it was really hard. And like it got infected, but it was hard to talk to people.
Yes.
And so I just had to do a lot of pointing and being like, this hurts.
Yes, of course, I can imagine. Wow. So this is like something which really happened to you, and so this is really appropriate, and that's why you're saying it's so useful in case, well, of course, we pray it won't happen again, but it's better, to always be well equipped, because even if it doesn't happen to you, it may happen to somebody around you. And so you need to be able to communicate if there's somebody around you who this has happened to. So at least, even if it doesn't happen to you, you'll be able to help somebody else who's in a bad way, in a bad situation. Yeah.
And as long as the coronavirus is better, next year I'll
Mm.
have an internship in Italy for 2 months, and then
Ah,
I'll be in Paris for a month. And so
oh, magnifique,
I'll
formidable.
need to
That'll
know
be
how to
good.
talk and
Absolutely.
traveling to different places as well. So
Mm. Ben, c'est très, très bien, Anna. Excellent. Je suis très
merci.
content pour toi. Je suis très,
Merci.
très heureux. Avec plaisir, Anna. Merci pour la leçon. C'était
Merci
excellent.
beaucoup.
Avec plaisir. Et donc, à la prochaine. À
À la
très
prochaine.
bientôt pour une autre leçon. Merci bien, Anna.
Merci.
Avec
Merci
plaisir.
beaucoup.
Merci bien. Au revoir.
Au revoir.